Some shifts arrive without warning, others unfold like a ritual. Today, the Fool meets the Wheel of Fortune, the archetype of cycles, fate, and the mysterious turning of time. This is the card of revolution and breakthrough. And as always, the real magic lives beneath the surface. Hey friends, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Elizabeth and this is the More Intuitive Me. I'm a tarot reader and your companion on the path of self-discovery. Welcome back to the Fool's Journey. Today, the Fool meets the Wheel of Fortune and the journey begins to turn. This is the card of change, cycles, and fate. This is where the Fool learns to trust the spiral and surrender to transformation. Let's take a look at the symbolism of the card. Today we are using the universal weight as well as tarot disassembled. Let's start with the wheel itself. So we can see it here. The wheel usually represents cycles, can represent karma, turning points, cosmic motion. Now, usually we're going to see four creatures. We can see them here, and they're also depicted on this card as well. These are the fixed signs of the zodiac. So we have Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And they represent stability within change. Oftentimes we will see the letters T, A, R, and O. Sometimes we see some Hebrew script. It's the idea of that mystical language. Now we also see some figures around the wheel. These are ascending and descending forces. We often have the Sphinx, the serpent, or Anubis. These are symbols of fate, wisdom, and transformation. Something that is on the card, and it actually makes a bold statement, yet I've never noticed it before, are the clouds. We can see that the clouds have been added here as well. So the sky or the clouds, that is representing divine timing or maybe unseen orchestration. The wheel reminds us that life is not linear, it spirals, and every turn carries both mystery and meaning. Let's talk about how the wheel shows up for us in everyday life. So, this could be maybe a sudden opportunity that shifts your trajectory. It could be a breakup or a loss that leads to unexpected clarity, a creative breakthrough after months of stagnation. It could also be a chance encounter that opens up a new path, or a moment where everything feels aligned without effort. Sometimes you hear people say things like, oh, everything is falling into place. It's like it was meant to be, right? That's how you know that it's in your best interest. Whereas other times you feel like you're fighting so hard, you're struggling to put the two pieces together and you can't find a connection, and you take, two or three steps forward, but you have to take 6 steps back. That could be an indication that you are trying to force something that isn't in the cards for you. The wheel shows up when life moves beyond our control, but not beyond our growth. It's the archetype of surrender, trust, and transformation. The wheel is card number 10 in the major arcana, and its energy echoes through the minor arcana 10s as well, each representing culmination, transition, or release. Here we have the 10 of Wands. So here we can see that the sense of burden, of overwhelm, it's like the weight before the shift. And then in the 10 of Cups, we have that sense of fulfillment, of harmony. It's the joy that arrives in divine timing. Now, the 10 of Swords, we have the ending, right? The great collapse, the breakdown before the breakthrough. And in the 10 of Pentacles, we see legacy, we see stability. It's the long arc of fortune and foundation. The tens ask, what is completing? And the wheel answers, what is transforming? Let's take a look at the Wheel of Fortune and how it's represented in various decks. So first we're looking at the Simdala Tarot, and here the key word is revolution. I really like that word. It speaks to the turning of fate and the spiral of change. Now here we have Tarot of Light, and the key word is breakthrough. It's the moment that clarity pierces the chaos. In this depiction, what we're looking at is actually the tree of life. And we can see there are butterflies here. And the idea is that we have butterflies that are emerging and they're able to see their surroundings from a completely different perspective. I like that they've included the butterflies because it speaks to that idea of constant change and adapting. Now here we have the Enchanter's Wheel, and this is from Forest of Enchantment. I think this card is so beautiful, and I love that it is a spiral. And you can see that there are different little attachments that are tied all the way throughout the spiral. We have a little skull here, a mushroom, a key, just different signs letting us know that there is transformation, there are endings, there are new beginnings, there is knowledge that is gained. And it just, I feel, really speaks to the core principles of the Wheel of Fortune card. Let's take a look at the Vision Quest. Here, this card has been renamed to the Small Medicine Wheel. And we can see that there are totem animals at each of the directions. So we have north, south, east, and west. This card here is from my Quiet Rebel. And here we have the Cosmic Roulette. I feel like this is a really fun way to look at this card, uh, almost like the game of chance. I love to see the ladybug energy in here. This one here is from my Sufi Tarot. I love this card. It's been renamed Shark Falak. It's a cosmic spinning wheel, right? It's a symbol of destiny and divine weaving. It's inspired by the whirling dervishes. These are practitioners of the Sufi tradition who engage in a sacred dance called Sema. And I may not be pronouncing that correctly, but I'm hoping that you get the idea here. This is a ritual that involves spinning in a meditative trance to symbolize surrender to divine motion. The whirling dervish at the center of the card embodies perfect surrender, moving in sync with the universe's rhythm. It is one of my most unique representations of the wheel card. Now here we have the card from the Distant Past Tarot, Wheel of Fortune. I really like this. I mean, you can see it's a massive wheel. It's being manually turned by this figure. We can see these two figures here. This person is using this one as leverage to avoid what is going to happen, which is that this figure is going to get crushed by that wheel. But you know, no matter what he does, he will end up with the same fate because none of us are exempt from the changes of life. Now, here I have Tarot of Mystical Moments. Many of you know that I love this deck. It is a soul deck for me. And I really like this representation as well because it's not just one spinning wheel. There are multiple gears that each affect the other. It's that idea that one move or one change affects the next, which affects the next. And I love this representation. I also love the fact that the gears are almost, they could be hidden, right? It's almost like her skirt is a curtain and the curtain is open just in this one moment so that we can see, but at any time she can close that curtain. And that would make the changes completely unexpected. Now let's take a look at the Bohemian Gothic. This is a fun representation as well because here we have someone who is obviously in a position of, I don't know if she's in a position of power, but she definitely has wealth. She's dressed very well. She has a lot of adornments and she is seeking wisdom from this fortune teller. As many of us do, we like to get our cards read. We like to have a little bit of insight. Some of us dabble in divination style readings, and it's almost like, what is going to come up for me next so that I can better prepare for those changes? Next, I want to look at a couple of different options here, kind of nature based, if you will. So we have the Gaian, and I like this because this one kind of speaks more to the cycles of life and of nature. We see the tree in the four stages, right? The four seasons. And I love to see the butterflies surrounding. We can also see all of the signs are on the outside. So it definitely speaks to cycles of life and the ebb and flow of change. And then this is from my Naturescapes. I love this card. I have no idea what that is, but the fact that it made a reflection there, I feel like it was the perfect choice for this card. This deck was actually very, very well done, and I love it so much. It's a favorite in my collection. So I wanted to make sure to um, share a card from a deck that is nature inspired. Now, I wanted to take a look at some other examples. So here we have the rosebud. And here we have I am the artist. And lastly, we have Nightmare Before Christmas. I very much like this card. I like the idea that they have chosen the merry-go-round to represent the wheel. And even though the merry-go-round has a very set pattern, right? Up, down for a certain number of revolutions, they've added a pair of die here. So that kind of speaks to more of that surprise or that gamble, if you will. And staying with that carnival theme, here we have the wheel. I love to see all the little carts in here. They're not even spread out properly. They're all over the place. But I love this representation. I just think it's a lot of fun. And then we all remember the wheel from Nightmare Before Christmas. The wheel is turning and the time is ticking in this card. I think an important reminder is that the wheel is not asking us to control it. It is asking us to ride it with grace. Friends, if you love tarot and this content resonates with you, please make sure to like and subscribe. Tap the bell icon so that you don't miss any upcoming videos. And thank you so much for being here. Since we are talking about cycles and change, I thought that we could use the naturescapes since this is related to nature and to seasons. I thought this would be the perfect deck. So I'm leaving the Wheel of Fortune card out for our reading, and we are going to pull 3 cards for this reading so that we can learn a little bit more about the energy of the wheel. All right, so the idea is that we're going to reflect on how the wheel is turning in our life right now. So for card number 1, what cycle is completing or shifting? What cycle is completing or shifting? Right here. Okay, we have the 2 of Swords. Now, what breakthrough? What breakthrough is ready to emerge? What breakthrough is ready to emerge? Whoop, there it is. 10 of Swords. Okay. And then the final question, what support or wisdom helps me ride the wheel with grace? What support or wisdom helps me ride the wheel with grace? Nine of Swords. Well, there's one for the books. Oh my goodness gracious, we have pulled all swords. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. I'm going to have to ponder this. I went and I grabbed my cup of joe, and I'm going to take a look at these cards. For card number 1, we had what cycle is completing or shifting. We have the 2 of Swords. Well, the 2 of Swords is usually indicative of a decision, something that has us in a gridlock where we're not able to decide and we're kind of frozen in place. So if we're looking at something that is ending or a transition taking place, I would say that that time of being in a standstill is coming to a close. It is going to be time to take the next step. And then for what breakthrough is ready to emerge, I feel like we have the ultimate card of breakthrough. We have the 10 of Swords. I mean, that that is just, oh, I love how spirit works. We have the 10 of Swords. This is the ultimate. We just looked at the 10 of Swords earlier here, and it was the card of just being completely and totally done and kind of like releasing into that idea that, all right, I get it. I'll move on to the next step. Well, what breakthrough is ready to emerge? I feel like that cloud is going to lift. The cloud is going to lift, and it'll be time to embark on something new. And the beauty about all of this is that we will have had the experience that we learned or gained from this moment, right? The wheel is speaking to cycles. And as we go through the cycles, we are learning, we're constantly learning. So, as this comes to a close and we're ready to step into whatever else is next in our life or in our path, we know that we're going to be able to do that with clarity, with intelligence, and with a newfound wisdom. And then for the final card, what support or wisdom helps me ride the wheel with grace? Well, we have the Nine of Swords. That's usually the nightmare card. So, you know what I'm going to say? What is going to help me ride the wheel with grace? Maybe accepting, right? Stop resisting and accept that we're not always going to have the answers. We're not always going to have clear insight. There are times where there is going to be fog, where we're not really going to know or be sure. And if we accept it, we will likely be able to move through with more grace than if we are resisting the change every step of the way. I love this reading so much. This is big energy here, and it's so very beautiful. I feel like this reading is inviting us all to honor the spiral, right? And trust the timing. Listen for the quiet rhythm beneath the change. Feel like the wheel is teaching us that change is inevitable, right? But growth is intentional. Fate may turn, but we choose how we meet it. Remember that we cannot control outer forces. We can only control how we react to those forces. Whether you're rising, falling, or pausing mid spin, this archetype reminds you you are a part of something vast, mysterious, and meaningful. Next time we meet, the Fool will meet Justice, the archetype of truth, balance, and sacred accountability. After the wheel turns, Justice asks, "What will you choose now?" Friends, thank you so much for watching. If this archetype stirred something in you, I'd love to hear your reflections below. Make sure to subscribe, stay connected as we continue unlocking the tarot. Until next time, trust the spiral and keep listening.